Does your workday feel like a game of whack-a-mole? A problem pops up, and you smash it down. Before you can even catch your breath, 2 more appear. You are busy, you are exhausted, you are constantly in motion, but you never seem to make any real progress. This isn't just a feeling, it's a systemic failure. It's a condition of the firefighting trap. It's the cycle of reactive problem-solving where our very actions, our heroic, decisive, immediate fixes don't just fail to solve the real issues, they actively make them multiply. Today, we're going to deconstruct this trap. We'll explore why the game of whack-a-mole is designed for you to lose, how our solutions can turn a single problem into a multi-headed monster, and what it looks like when an entire organization is running on pure, thoughtless momentum. This is the diagnosis for why you're so busy and the first step to finally breaking the cycle. Let's begin with a game that perfectly describes the modern business life.
The bloody game that's designed to break you.
Does your life ever feel like a whack-a-mole? Problem pops up, you smash the little git down. 2 more pop up, grinning at you. You are knackered, sweating buckets, but the moles just keep coming. Here is the thing that'll do your head in. You are meant to lose. Back in 1975, some Japanese bloke created the most sadistic piece of entertainment ever. Not just a game, a proper psychological torture device, which translates to mole extermination. Sounds innocent enough, doesn't it? The sneaky genius designed a system where you are meant to fail in the long run. Those moles were programmed to pop up faster than any human can handle. The patterns get more mental as you play. Your frantic hammering, your lightning reflexes, your stubborn refusals to give up, it's all just feeding the bloody machine. The game isn't about getting rid of moles. It's about keeping you there, sweating and swinging that hammer like a proper mug. Ring any bells? When we're constantly working at the symptoms, we are playing exactly the game the developers intended. Each mole is just a surface manifestation. It draws your attention, triggers a reactive fix, but it doesn't address the underlying machine that's generating them. Martial artists do reaction drills, not to react forever like some caffeinated hamster, but to develop the awareness to end fights before they even start, not to prolong them. The difference between a master and some mug throwing punches isn't speed. It's knowing when to stop playing the other guy's game. So when you're caught in the frustrating cycle of whacking problems, remember the design of the game. Your efforts are valuable for immediate containment, but they won't stop the flow. To truly win, you need to stop playing by the rules of the unwinnable game. You need to find that off switch, the deeper-seated root cause that's tirelessly generating those problems. Address that, and the moles will stop appearing. The whack-a-mole game is the perfect metaphor for being trapped in an endless cycle of surface problems. It's exhausting, but at least your hammer isn't making more moles appear. But what happens when the problem is more sinister? What happens when your direct, forceful solution is the very thing that causes the problem to regenerate stronger and more numerous than before? Ancient Greek myth has a monster for that. and it's a perfect warning against the danger of brute force firefighting.
The bloody thing that eats your solutions.
Right, so you fix one thing and two more explode in your face. You handle a complaint and suddenly everyone's pissed off. You patch one bug and the whole system decides to have a nervous breakdown. Brilliant. You are not putting out fires, you are multiplying them. But please figure this out the hard way. Now, the Hydra wasn't your average monster. This was a colossal serpent-like beast with multiple heads. But here, where it gets worse. Chop one head off and two new pop up, like they're taking the piss. So what does our muscle-bound hero do? Exactly what you'd expect from someone whose solution to everything involves hitting it really hard. He grabs his sword and starts hacking away like he's at a clearance sale. Ah, one head's gone. Wing, two new ones appear, looking absolutely livid. Chop, chop. Now there is 4 of the bastards, then 8, then 16. It looks like mathematics wasn't his favorite subject. The harder he swung, the more screwed he became. Finally, he realized that brute force, that chop off his head solution, wasn't just ineffective, it was actively making the situation worse. He was engaged in the ultimate form of firefighting, and every bucket of water he threw was just adding fuel to the flames. Finally, the panic hit. He had to stop focusing on the obvious symptom, the head, and understand the mechanism behind the problem's multiplication. So he calls his nephew Yolaus, I guess, whatever, who rocked up with fire. New plan. Chop a head immediately seal the wound, preventing the new heads from growing. Kill the source, not just the symptom. So the next time you find yourself fighting a problem that just keeps multiplying, don't apply surface level fix, please. Pause. Ask yourself, am I dealing with a Hydra? If so, you need to understand the underlying process, the mechanisms that making this problem regenerate, and address that before you try to chop off another head. Don't get seduced by the illusion of knowing. Aim for understanding. So, we have an unwinnable game of whack-a-mole, and a monster of the Hydra that feeds on your solutions. We are caught in a cycle of frantic, counterproductive action. What does an organization look like when this becomes its default state? When every department, every team, every leader is just reacting, multiplying problems, and getting, frankly, nowhere. There is a gruesome but chillingly accurate metaphor for the state of pure, thoughtless organizational motion.
The headless chicken. The story that explains everything.
You've heard the phrase, running around like a headless chicken. But do you know where it comes from? And more importantly, do you realize you are probably doing it right now? The phrase is gruesomely literal. When you behead a chicken, its body keeps running for several minutes, pure nervous system activity, just frantic motion until it collapses from exhaustion. The most famous case was Mike the Headless Chicken from 1945. A farmer's botched beheading left just enough brain stem intact for Mike to survive 18 bloody months without a head. It demonstrated all the motions of being a chicken, minus the actual consciousness to direct them. Mike became a celebrity, touring sideshows across America. People paid good money to watch a creature that looked alive, reacted to life, but was fundamentally missing the one thing that mattered most, his head. Freaking gross. This is the perfect metaphor for modern problem solving. Organizations everywhere are running around like Mike. Lots of activities, lots of motion, but no real understanding driving the action. Each activity feels logical. Each generates business. Each creates the illusion that something meaningful is happening. But without the head, the deep understanding of why these problems exist, it's just expensive running in all possible directions at once. The headless chicken burns through all its energy in a spectacular display of pointless motion. Modern organizations do the same thing. They exhaust resources, burn out employees, and confuse frantic activities with strategic progress. Here is what's insidious. The more you run around like this, the more you convince yourself you are solving problems. Motions becomes its own justification. Being busy feels like being productive. The difference between a thriving organization and a headless chicken isn't the amount of activity. It's the presence of genuine understanding directing this activity. Stop running. Start thinking. The head always comes first before the body for a reason. Sometimes the most productive thing you can do is stand perfectly still and figure out where the hell you are actually running. The unwinnable game of whack-a-mole, the multiplying heads of the Hydra, the mindless motion of the headless chicken. These aren't just stories. They are stages in the anatomy of the firefighting trap. It begins with the feeling of being overwhelmed by an endless stream of surface problems. Then it escalates when our reactive fixes start creating more problems than they solve. And it ends in a state of organizational exhaustion, where frantic activity has completely replaced strategic thought. The escape isn't a faster hammer or a sharper sword. The escape is to stop. It's to disengage from the game, to diagnose the monster, and to re-engage the head, the strategic, analytical part of the organization that asks why before it asks how fast. The first step out of the firefighting trap is to admit you are in it. The second is to stand still.